particular product, product works, right? And whether on in the specific conditions when user trying to use it, whether it is operable or not. And the non-functional, this is where, outside the functional, that comes with the performance, endurance, load, volume, scalability, usability, and also non-functional comes with an accessibility as well. Even it comes with the securities as well. And again, maintenance, we know the regression and maintenance testing we deliberately on regularly we do upon. So today, majorly focus on the performance with the Blazemeter. All right. And what is the performance testing, right? What is performance? You all know that functional testing, does it works as designed? For example, if the login is able to log in with a specific set of user, whether if it is a banking application, if it is able to log in, if it is able to do a deposit, if it is able to do the fund transfer, all those things, right? Suppose, can you transfer 10 from account A to account B? So that's what functional testing does. So what performance testing, right? We know it works, but can it handle expected workload, right? It means that it's a variation, right? For example, let's say in the recently we had Amazon flash sales, right, and the festival sales, and also Big Billion Day from the Flipkart. So how my application behaves during that the mass load of a user when there is a this kind of a flash sales and Big Billion Days or the Black Friday, we expect a lot of users use our platform and make sure we provide the solution, feasible environment to them. So performance testing means to that with the certain conditions whether user is able to use our platform or not, right? So example is, can you transfer $10 from account A to B when you have 1,000 users logging in on making transfer and paying bills, like other users also using the solution at the same time. So during that point of time, so how your one particular user is able to use the system or not, right? And again, so what happens is we don't have any guesses on this one. For example, let's take a look into this particular thing, right? So in this one, so what I have is I have on the when 160 users are in my server, and I'm getting around 1 seconds of the average page load time, average response time. It means so within a seconds, my user is able to use my system. But what happens to this one? Look at that. So till this point of time, probably, and to up to this, I'm getting the considerable the performance, right? Because it is within seconds. But the real challenges comes here, right? So when I cross the number of 160 users, right? When I load my number of virtual users are more, and probably I know I continue around 200 users in this. So that's where my performance start degrading. If you look at that, when users are 200 and I am getting the average response time. So this is the degradations, we need to verify, right? On the number of the people are jumping to the system, how my applications are behaving, right? And this is still true. This is 30 40 years back, the same principle. This is still true on the modern day. The expectation is that whatever the number of users sitting, that my applications to consider minimum amount of time it should take to provide the intended response. Right. And again, so we all know that some testing types, the load test, the endurance test. Again, I'll share the slides. I'll not fully on to this one because we have to cover Blazemeter, the stress and peak test, right? And more importantly, the testing infrastructures. Now we know that, right? For example, so this is my web server gateway. And we know that, so let's say my overall 2,000 users will be sitting this on the gateway. And so the request is coming from the web browser. Also, it can be of the mobile devices as well, from the mobile applications, not necessarily in the web browser, right? And of course, these are already in mobile devices, and also something APIs as well, right? So when the 2,000 users are sitting, and it uses the underneath environment, these are the individual component, and individual component having its own backend services, right? This is all environment. So when 2,000 users are sitting, so what is our magic number? So we all know that, so 3.5 seconds. So what is it, 3.5 seconds? So as an end user, if I logging or looking anything, if it is loads within 3.5 seconds, I'm okay with that. So anything is crossing this number, that's what start irritating the user. So the point is that, so are we getting, when 2,000 users are sitting in the my gateway, are they getting the 3.5 seconds? Is it individual component working on to achieve this one? So that's where we need to work on as a performance test engineers, right? And so what does the Blazemeter now? So basically, the Blazemeter is a SaaS platform and continuous testing. So what do you mean by the continuous testing? So the Blazemeter is not only just an on just performance testing solution. It is a multiple feature provided solution provider, right? It's, you can say that the 5 products in a one product. So what are the 5 products, right? It is, you can do a, of course, it's a built on open source, and it's built on the JMeter. It's built on the it supports on the Selenium. It's a Gatling, Taurus, and Cucumber. And so what are the 5 products I mentioned? So it is something called functional. So where, with the Selenium script, we have scriptless. So you can also API test creations. With that, you can run your functional test. And obviously, the major in the performance and load testing, we allow user to load on a specific number of users on the cloud, and we'll verify that how the system behaves on specific conditions. We will talk about in details on this one. And also another major thing is something called service virtualization. So service virtualization is nothing but, so suppose if my one of the backend API is still in development, right? And until that the API is developing, so I'll not be able to do a UN functional test or UN with the performance test also, right? Or in the second condition. So I am using the third-party APIs, and those third-party APIs are, the charging you on usage, the pay on usage, the concept. For example, the MasterCard and Visa, right? And for every payment, if I'm using the services, I have to do some 10 cents, whatever it is I need to pay. And I cannot use those paid services for my performance testing. So now with the value, we're talking about more than 10,000, right? If you're 10,000, this mockings, the virtual users start using it. So in the testing will be too complex and the testing will be too costlier. So what we do, that's where the service virtualization done. So in service virtualization, what we do, we mock these services. Okay, this as good as this coming from the live services. So what it enables is that even though my the particular API is in development, so because of this virtualization, we all mock the values. So my functional test I can verify. So the UI can get the data what it requires to display or to navigate or render in the UI. And also on the third party, the costly services I've mentioned, I can stop those values on the successful conditions. If the pay is successful, what are the response I'm going to get in UI level? All this can be verified. So that is what the service virtualization is all about. And we also have API monitoring. So it means that so you can continuously running it the portal API on your production monitoring services. So you have a testing services and where you can some say 10 to 15 APIs that needs to be run rigorously on every 30 minutes or every 15 minutes. That also monitoring how your servers are alive. So these are the some API monitoring solutions also available. And on top of that, we have a synthetic test data generation. So this is one of the very important aspect for any of the even functional on as well as the performance matrices as well. Like, I want to verify with the different data. Like I want to create a users in my platform with a different set of data. For example, each user requires a certain unique value. For example, unique social security number, unique Aadhaar card, unique email ID, everything, right? So it is not an easy task to get it. So what we have something called AI-generated synthetic test data. Any data you want, it can be generated within no time. Okay, and that test data, you can use it in all the services, either on the scriptless test, on the functional test, either I can use it on the performance as usual, and I can do it on the service virtualization and for the API monitoring as well. It is nothing but the perfect perforce sandwich. Like, on top of layer, we will have our the API solutions where I inquire my get, post, and everything. and the underline, we have a service virtualization. Service virtualization will have all the data. So when APIs, we ask for the server, so server they will return back from the service virtualization. So that will complete, complete flow, right? And also, so as I mentioned, something very important, something called Blazemeter University. So this is one of the questions what we ask. We don't have the knowledge, right? This is where the Blazemeter comes with very handy. Again, this is a free. There is no chargeable. Okay, you can log into this Blazemeter University, and you will get plenty of the courses available for you. Suppose if you are want to just get started with the performance testing, this is a place where you want to jump in and can start getting the courses. It's a very well instructor based the course, and it has a very live and intuitive and a lot of live examples also provided. We have the sample environment is also for your testing, and moreover, it comes with certificates as well. So if we at the end of the test, you will get a simple test on proving that you will certified with the certificates that we can share it in the LinkedIn anywhere. So this is where if you are really looking on the performance testing, this is a place to go. And everything is an API and integrated as it, and even APM solutions as well. So what is the APM solution? Suppose on the performance monitorings as well on the server side. So during the my all end user testing on the performance testing, I would like to monitor what is happening on the server side as well. What is my server throughput, server memory, CPU, and everything. So using the third-party APM solutions, you can get those values and you can plot it on the results as well, right? Um, yeah, I think that's all the Blazemeter is all about. And of course, we will enable our customers with the shift left and shared platform intelligent test automation. So any questions so far? Okay, right. Now, so now one of the thing is on the security. So how secured we are when we are using a Blazemeter solution. So as an user, when web browser I've used an API call, and we are using the TLS 1.3 SSL protocols. Okay, and if you are 1.2 using, so we can fall back to the 1.2 as well. So within the Blazemeter, each account has been customer data is encrypted, individual data is encrypted, and it with your own different the schema. And suppose when you disengage with the Blazemeter, we will make sure this will be discarded from our side. So we are using the Google storage buckets individually encrypted. And of course, all our load generators also using the TLS 1.3. And now, what are the models available in the Blazemeter today it supports? Of course, as I mentioned, it's a SaaS platform. And suppose if your system under test is publicly available, it means that it doesn't require any kind of a internal network and it is accessible to the public network. So we have on the option one, we provide the load engines that is coming from the Google, Amazon, or in Azure. So these are all maintained by you. Maintained by us. We as an user don't need to worry about it. And these are all our entity. And we will load this generator on runtime, and you can seamlessly execute your performance test on the system under test. Of course, this is very, very straightforward and very fast. On the second thing, so in the event where your the system under test is within your network and it is not exposed to the outside, and we have something called private location, and that's why it is called as an hybrid. So now the locators, the load engines will be in your computer network. This will be of your the Linux boxes. We will host it within the network. Of course, this can also be containerized. This can be used Docker or even the Kubernetes as well. And these all the hosted within your network and your system under test. And one thing you will get that the latency. So within that, since both your the load generators and system under test within network, it will be low latency solutions provided. And what you need to do is you need to just an outbound network, outbound access from this private location to the Blazemeter to put it all the results on triggering the test and everything. That's all it's needed. Okay. On the third option, So something called the whitelisted IPs. So yes, even the system under test, it is within your network, but we will have a whitelisted IPs. So we will have a dedicated IP for you, and those IPs is not shared, only dedicated to the specific customer. And what you need to do is, so you need to just under the firewall, you just need to open this firewall under the firewall, and within the firewall, so we will start interacting with the system under test. Okay, so this is the option 2 and option 3. Again, option 2, option 3 almost same. In the option 2, where you don't need to worry about on the firewall. Okay, it's just an outbound connection is needed, and everything is taken care within the network. On the option 3, where you don't want to manage this as the services within your environment, but you want to access put in our cloud solution, and you want to access those system under test on runtime, so it's just on firewall connections. It is just like, if your system operators are within your system, within your company, or within who manages the infrastructure, they're good, the option 2 for them. And if the network team is good, where they're allowing you to for the firewall anything tested, then option 3 is even seamless. Even anything on the cloud service source platform is always good, because whenever in the private locations, if anything happens, and then again, so customer has to manage. Of course, certain level our Blazemeter support also does, but since these Linux boxes within the network, so somebody has to manage it. So for the first option 1 and option 3, so everything is taken care by on the Blazemeter support itself. And the another last options in the options 3, so this should not be the rooted IPs, right? It should not be something called 10 or something. It should be, unrooted. If it is unrooted, so then only then we have to fall back to the option 2, what we have. I hope I'm clear. Any questions so far?
Yes, Guru, there is one question in chat
Uh-huh.
box. How do we
Uh-huh.
test background services?
What are the background services we are referring here, Amit?
Just let me know. I'll unmute
Uh-huh.
Amit, if possible. Yeah, Amit.
Uh, yeah, background services by
Mm.
I guess, the process which we run in threads or
Mm-hmm.
background threads and all. If we want to test that,
Mm-hmm.
like performant it is, so
Mm-hmm.
do we have any option in Blazemeter like how?
Well, what I understand, all the background services, something on the APM tools where we have do that. So that's where individual what are the background and into the Java component, all those things can be retrieved on the APM tools. So as a performance from the Blazemeter, it is something, like symptomatic, the observation. For example, in the performance test, I will load my servers with the specific users. So on the, when as soon as you getting into that, suppose individual thread services, that's where the APM come into the picture.
Okay, so
Makes sense?
makes sense. So, okay,
Yes.
how do we profile them? Like, how do we know how performant? Okay, I understood there is another service,
Yes.
APM.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yep.
do we have any, metrics over there to?
Yes. You will get once you enable those metrics while running your test, and we can retrieve all those things, and that can be visible in the Blazemeter services, Blazemeter results.
All right.
Yes.
Got
Suppose, for example, let's say, I think I don't have APM integration today, but it will be like this. Suppose if I enable my APM services, and so when I plot my test, let's say on the 100 users, and this is my performance test. What you can do is we can ask to plot the CPU of the particular server. It will plot under the individual user on top of the virtual users. It will plot your CPU consumption. So then you can see that, on specific users, what are the CPU is triggering from your application that causing more than 100% or more than 75% penalty. Similar goes to the you thread services like that also. If anything is going on, so you can put and you can plot it on the results side as well. I'll show that where you can enable in the APM services as part of while triggering a test. Okay,
Yeah.
thanks. Yeah, any other questions quickly?
Anyone? Any questions? Please feel free to write in chat box.
Yeah. Yeah, so we have some customer use cases as well like that. Suppose I want an internet and this is what discussed, right? I want a corporate network and this is OPL, so on-premise the locators. And this is where this is one of the option to what we discussed. And also we have this is a IP whitelisting, and also you can virtual private networks as well. We can put it under in the network and some of them in your network like that. So a lot many combinations that you can connect, right? So these are the some virtual private, and we allow the SAML SSO integrations as well for our the Blazemeter SaaS platform to access. We don't need to be login username and password based. So you can just share the metadata file, and we support Azure SAML based SSO integrations as well. Then yes, this is another important thing, right? So I think I see that 71% are using the open source and they're using JMeter. I think we all know that JMeter is one of the damn good open source we have, right? I hope you all agree with me. So JMeter is a very mature, very robust, but the one thing is that JMeter verifies on the network timings here, right? And what it does is it sends a request to the my web server, and it will get the response from the server. So what are the response time from year to year? So JMeter we would provide in this case. Okay, and now but it will not have any kind of a end user experiences, like it does not provide you how much the network connectivity and what are the rendering things is. It won't provide you that as from the JMeter. Suppose like this. Suppose as a web browser I'm using it, right? And when the user interaction is doing it, and that web browser intermediate initiating the API call. So this is where the Selenium comes into the picture, and Selenium can from the Selenium, since we are sending the request directly from the web browser. So along with my response time, we also get from the user some from the end user experiences like that. What is happening, where is my most of the time is spending. Okay, so is it my UI is rendering properly on based on my response received from the server? All the thing you can get it in Selenium. So that's the reason. So JMeter, when you talk about it, is nothing but the more than 1,000 users, any number of users. But in Selenium, when you operate with, it should be very minimal, like one user, because we are using the real web browsers for testing. Even this could be of mobile devices as well, not just on the web browsers. Right. So what is the general things is as well as I mentioned, the web virtual users will simulate my load, 1,000 users on my server, and so again Blazemeter. So how Blazemeter work together? As I mentioned, we understand the challenge. JMeter allow only for the on the server side, but we also need to on the measure end user experiences. So what Blazemeter does is it will load your servers with virtual users, okay, and during the same time it also execute your test on the real browsers, okay, and together it will load the gateway. So now in this case it will be 1,101 sorry 1,001 will be virtual users. Let's say one users from the end user experience, that will be one, so it will be 1,001. And of course this is overall environment. So we will run my test around 20 minutes 30 minutes on number of the virtual whatever we are, and finally we test our gateway and we'll verify the my page response, my server response like that, right? So how are we going to do this? Yes, we understand the Blazemeter. We understand what is Blazemeter. We understand what kind of a the model it supports and everything. We understand as a complete performance testing what we need. We need both the server side and as well as the client side. In this case, the Selenium end user experience. We're talking about something also call it as a client side, and the JMeter will does on the server side. right? So having said that, if this is the things we wanted to operate, and what is a way we can create a test easily? So for that, something called Blazemeter plugin. So probably you already aware of this if you are using the JMeter. And again, so what is a Blazemeter in first thing? So Blazemeter, even though we support multiple open source, but our tagline is when say Blazemeter is nothing but a JMeter over the cloud. That's it. Very simple explanation. JMeter over the cloud. So as I mentioned, JMeter is a very good tool, but any open source, any good open source tools, it hit a dead end on certain scaling, right? For example, suppose I want to run a 10,000, somebody say 16% of users are saying that 10,000 users, they wanted to run a performance test, but they cannot use one machine to do that 10,000. For example, in this machine, I cannot trigger 10,000 tests in a JMeter. Yes, you can do that, but so this is every virtual users, consumes its memory, CPU memory, and its own memory, right? Say for 5 MB for one virtual users, right? If you are more than 10,000, then actually you're loading the system. So what you're getting is false positive results, right? So maximum you can load one machine to 500 users, nothing more than that. Suppose if your application is even very heavier, then even 500 is also not feasible. So that was something you need to work on, right? On what level of your system is crossing more than 80%. You should be always less than 70 or 60%, right? So then being this is the challenges, then you have to cascade multiple systems and you need to work on to come up with the solutions, right? That's where it's the cost and everything. So what Blazemeter does, so you do testing all over your, write your script and everything JMeter, but once you are ready with your execution, execute it on the Blazemeter, and Blazemeter will take care of scaling this number of load generator, right? We have a 10,000 number of generators we have, and we can scale any number of users you wanted to. Like we have a customers, like the streaming account like the British Telecom or the Disney. They are the spinning the load generator more than 1 million any point of time. All right. So, and as I said, so JMeter like that. So we contributed a lot to the public community, and the Blazemeter plug is one among them. And this plugin also do a correlations for you as well, right? And I'll show that and how we can do. So what it does is, you simply just go through your flow in the web, and the recorders will capture a traffic for you. Okay, I'll show that to you. And also, Blazemeter will support the multi-test as well. For example, you have a 3 separate tests. One is on the, suppose checking is a 200 users, savings having 150 users. Of course, we are talking about one of the demo application. And the ATM lookup and having is 50 users, okay? And if you have created a separate test, we have something multi-test support within the Blazemeter. You can create a multi-test and add all your tests and then execute on runtime. Okay, so we also support multi-tests as well. Right, and the component level testing. So I think we all know that, right? Suppose this is the one of the component, right? So the component, this one, and let's come back our previous theory, like, when we say that, what is a business question, right? Business requirement is that any point of time, it should be 3.5 seconds. So what is the budget for each component we have that, right? Suppose let's take this component, and it has the dependency of this virtual service, and it also is having some of the web server, right? And together 3.5 seconds. For example, if it is taking a 1 second, and if it is taking 1.5 second, and this is taking 2 seconds, it simply crosses my magic number. So how you can verify the each component level. So at time, my 3.5 second does matters here. That's where we're going to do that, integration testing, everything. So this is where the component level testing is very much matters. Right? Let me show you the live demo. Yes, Discord it.
So Guru,
Yeah,
before
yeah,
going to your
yes,
demo, can we answer a few questions which
yes, yes.
have questions in? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
The one question from Pranil is
Mhm.
there any feature available to simulate load of messaging queues applications such as Kafka,
Kafka,
RMQ,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, for production and consumption scenarios?
What I know that right now we don't have the Kafka and RMQ support, but what I heard that this is expected in Q4 of this year. So probably in a month of time, we have the support, Kafka and RMQ.
Okay. And the next question is, since Blazemeter is running
Yep.
on cloud, does it mean it will expose our API contacts to Blazemeter cloud?
Well, yes, it is two things. One, it is if it is a test runs within your network, there is nothing, Blazemeter will have that. But even on the public environment, yes, you can store this your data and everything on that one. But everything is on NDA signed, and we make sure the data is safe with us, and we work on that. The data is integrated part of it.
I hope we have answered your questions correctly. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Right. So I see Amit again. So I hope that API contacts and the Blazemeter, right? So does that help to you? Any further question on that? I can get the details for you if it is anything that is specific details you needed. Okay. Okay. Thanks. Now let's okay, we have a short of time, 15 minutes. Let's say this is my the test system under test, and I would like to test this environment. So what I can do is I'll use my Blazemeter plugin. It is available in the Chrome Web Store. So you can simply download and install it. Once the plugin is installed, you will get this option. And now it will start. Suppose this is my bank test too. Okay. And I'll start the recording in this case. And I'll continue my flow. Suppose this is my username and password. So let's say this is okay. I wanted to have the transactions, each transaction, what I'm doing. This is my login, add a step, and do a sign in button here. So you can see in the back end, it start capturing all your requests. Okay, so once successful login is completed, you can also add your assertions is that since we are doing a Selenium, let's say, so you can say that account balance, I can say assert test. So that's also captured, right? Now this will verify that yes, login is successful like that. So now I want to do my second transactions. I would like to check my account balance or checking the account statement, something. I'll use the view checking. Okay, and so it's done. So similarly, I will go with the savings and click on the savings. Now I will, I want to have one more transactions of ATM lookup. So here we use third-party services. So this is where the ATM lookup, and I want to enter a zip code of this one. When I enter, yes, it provides the yeah, so it does provides the ATM locations. And yeah, I can add the multiple transactions like this, but I think this is good enough for me. I will say log out. Okay, and yeah, this is my logout. Yes, my transaction, my test scenario is completed. So I will go and say stop here. Okay, now you can see, now when I'm saving this is very important. It provides a JMeter file for me. Okay, say that JMeter. So JMeter will have the transactions or the API level. It is there. And also have a Selenium. So you can also have Selenium with the AML based with the different the languages what you're looking into it. Okay, so I'll just export the Selenium only. And when I save it, so it will export the this file for me. Okay, so you can see that Selenium, and that is nothing but my YAML file. So that looks like this. Okay, you can see what is my test name, executor, Chrome, and all the locators that is required. Everything, it will be presented in the YAML format. Okay, and on the JMeter JMX file, so let me show that JMX file. It will be loaded like this. Okay, have already pre-loaded. I'm just using it. It's the same thing what I exported from the extension itself. Okay, and I can verify this. I can add the correlation, everything, and you can see that if I run this test, it's actually play around the same API. See all the login and everything. It's a quick, and when summary, it says that an average value of each transactions we have recorded. Okay, so now we have both server side from the JMX side, and we are now ready with our Selenium things as well. So now I'll go to the Blazemeter, and this is the Blazemeter. As I mentioned, I already logged in. This is also SSO. So I'll go to the my performance, and I want to create a test. Okay, and let's say create this test, and it says that the performance test, simple performance is a single test. As I mentioned, we also provide the multi-test. So let me create a simple test now, and I will upload this script, which I just now downloaded. Okay, so I can say this as open. Okay, so what it does is it will upload, and also it automatically validates for me. Right, so my scripts are ready. We have two scripts. One is the Selenium script, and one is the from the JMeter side. And right, and this is what test data. If you look at that, the AI, so what it does is you can see it automatically detects, okay, and it provides the generated data example for me. So if I use the test data, it actually no longer it uses the hard coded value, but rather it uses AI generated the test data. Right. So at this point of time, I'm not going to use it. So now I'll use my major thing, and so the load configuration, this is what I was mentioning. So let's say I want to run this test on around 500 users. Okay. And durations is it can be iterations or it can be durations. Iteration in the sense, if you want to run a 20 iterations for any point of time, so you can run it, or you can do a duration for 20 minutes. Duration is always best suited, always. So I will say 20 minutes. And the ramp up time is very important because, it's not all of a sudden 500 people will suddenly start appearing in the server, right? It will be gradual. So that's what, want to do is I want out of 20 minutes, I want to ramp up time of around say 7 minutes. Okay. So now 7 minutes it will ramp up. So now 7 minutes continuously on steady slope, it will execute. Now also have ramp up steps. It's not something, suddenly, rather than running suddenly. So what I'll do is I will make use of the steps, let's say around 20 steps. Okay, you can see that. So each steps on each particular steps, I'm loading the, around 20 users like that, 20-25. So up to 7 minutes, it will log that 500 users, then it will continue test. Okay, so this is my the load configuration. And the another thing is load distribution. This is another important, right? Now we have the different the locations that you can see. Now it is a Google Cloud platform. You can see these are the places you can choose it. So your end users, wherever sitting, you can say Japan, India, UK, any number of any way, any places you can choose it. It also has your IP, the static IP base. Remember, we have a three way of to set up a Blazemeter configuration, right? Suppose if it is on the cloud service, you can do it, or if you have the open source OPL, on-premise locators, so you can choose that. And also you have any the static IPs we have, that you place, you can choose from this one as well. Now, I'm using just one locations, US East. I can also add the locations I want. For example, I want to add the Canada. Now the total traffic is divided with 50-50. So any point of locations you can start. And you can also add a failure criteria. Suppose you can define that. Suppose my KPI times average is say, is greater than say 3,500. I want to fail my test. So like that, I can add any number of my failure criteria. Okay. Then test data architecture. So this is on test data. We'll see later. I think we have time. We don't have time, but we'll see. The virtual services. So as I mentioned, some of the APIs is not available today, and you want to use the underlying environment. So can enable and you can make use of that. And one of the important is end user conditions. This is what I was talking about. Now Selenium scenario. This is my Selenium scenario. I uploaded the YAML file. So where I want a location, again, I can also use at different locations, US West London, and I can use the browsers what I have record with. Also, you can add your own browsers where you want to run it in the Chrome or something. I want to use Chrome 110 version. And this is where the APM integrations I was talking about. So if you have any third party, we do support all of these APMs. No, if you have, you can choose it. And no, once you have enabled this is where I don't have anything at the moment, but once you are done, you have different profiles, like as you mentioned, as Amit is asked. So CPU and anything on the memory, everything, and you can retrieve it. You want to retrieve later point of time, so that's where the APM is all about. And you can also have JMeter properties. Suppose if you want to feed that JMeter rather than the hardcode value, you have to send it from the Blazemeter itself. That you can do it. You can also override the DNS. Suppose I want to add, suppose this is my DNS, dbankdata.com. On runtime, if you want to change it, something on the IP address, so that also you can change it. Okay, can override the DNS. And the last one is something called the network simulation. Okay, any point of time you would like to test with the end user conditions like that, 3G port, 2G, like that, you can choose your network emulations accordingly. Right. So once this configuration is done, so that's it. So if you run your test on the, it will run it for 20 minutes and on the number of users you ask for it. Okay. So I will not trigger the test now, but I'll straight away go to the result section. So meanwhile, yes, you can be configured machine configuration as well, like machine count, CPU, Docker. Yes, you can do that. We have set of basically the engines. Okay, you can see this here. I can show you that. Under the configuration, yeah, you can see load distribution. So you can make the number of users like that based on that. Based on your core, based on your CPU, you can choose your number of users, and accordingly, we'll provide an engine for you. So we have some prerequisite or preconditions that you need to verify. You need to test it on what level your servers can take it. Some servers, 500 users would be okay, but some users will be, lesser than that. Before your locators will say that an 80% of CPU like that, but it is configurable. Yes. Right. So once we have execute, what we can do is I'll straight away go to my test reports. Okay, this is where I ran my test. Okay, I will take out my last successful executions. And what it sees is that, it will provide a summary to you. You can see that overall summary 50 virtual users it executed. This is number of 298 hits per second and no errors. That's a good thing. And look at the average response time. For 50 users, average response time is 250 milliseconds for all the transactions we are comparing. It's not just a specific transaction. And the 19th percentile, it's saying the 400 milliseconds. It means that 90% of users are getting the page load time as 400 milliseconds. This is still under the good if you consider our magic number 3.5 seconds. Okay. And now another thing is end user experience. That's where I wanted to show you. And these are all the things we have done. Let me check the login. You can see that during this 20 seconds, these many times we have executed the live test. Suppose if you open this, you can see Um, we have a 6 transactions. Out of 6 transaction is 2 transaction is failing from some reasons. Okay, so I think checking is failing. That is because some Selenium timeout. Maybe that we can fix it later. But you can see, but rest of the transaction is pausing. You can run your full video like on these things, how things are going. You can see. So everything is working. So all the transactions, and you can also see the waterfall. Like you can also see the live picture of the API hard traffic. This is where you can understand if it is any failures. If it is taking more than 20 seconds, like why and how it's taking, you can easily analyze. You can see these many APIs took around 970 to less than 1 second. Okay, so what it says that login is taking on this particular instance, login is taking 1 second. Okay, the same way, suppose I will take this one, and this is something more timings, but you can see this timing is says that around 1.47 seconds. And why it is taking, that's where you can easily analyze all with the end user data over here. Okay, we have individual transactions. You can also say checking. So individual transactions, what we record and everything, can get it here. Okay, so this is where you can come. Okay, another timeline report. You can, I think we are on top of the hour, but just give me a 2 minutes of time. So suppose this is my timeline report and I want to unselect and I want to say that, okay, let's say um, I want to load my virtual users. Okay, this is my virtual users. You can see, um, we can see that this is my virtual users, right? 7 minutes, 50 for ramping, and next 7 minutes is walking. So now I want to do my page load time. So response time. So I would like to take my the login, or yeah, I think login would be the best thing. So let's an average value for login, and it says that, so we look at that. So starting with with the 440 milliseconds, and this is where the anomaly is detected. And the anomaly is not something it automatically, it says that that can help teams to maintain high quality standard, ensuring perform reliably. Uh, See, it surfaces issues that might not be identified the other layers of the defense, such as baseline comparison failure. So it is something it's not able to find it in other things, but in particular test, the Blazemeter is able to cover this, say that this particular the response time, right? And so what it says that, and you can see starting with the 443, but as soon as your number of users are more, and it is taking the more the time. So that's what an indicative. I think this is a very good test, nothing to be worried, but let me show you one test quickly, and I'll take this test. Okay, this can look at that. It says that average response is 3.5 seconds, but 90% of users is saying that 15.58 seconds. Why? Because there are so many failures. Okay, this error rates, you can see many tests are failing with the 500, because in this point of time, the servers may not be able to load, the test. Even 500 users. Let me show that 500 users here. So even our Selenium alt test also breaks here. You can see that it says that 90% of users saying the 19 users, and it's so many failures because of the 500 users. And my end user experiences also breaks here. Okay, and on certain level, we are not able to load that. The UI says that it is unable to load. Okay, and so if I say login here, if I play this video, okay, and let's say, right, so this is login. We can look at that, how much time it's okay, this login is successful. Some places, okay, want to show one error, but okay, never mind. So yeah, this is a summary, this is a timeline report. Let me, okay, yeah, this is the one you can see. This is what this is of test, and I would like to see how my Oh my, yeah, login. Yeah, look at that login. Is it deposit? Can see that it took 46 seconds. It started breaking, and the 400 users, it's taking more than 59 seconds. Look at that. It is actually jumping, and sometimes it actually fails because the Selenium, I mean the server is not able to handle more than 500 users. That's why we're getting the 500 users. That's the crux of one, right? Our testing. We would like to break our system on what level my system breaks here. So this is where the reporting comes. We can load on top of that. For example, if you want to load, so this is your thing. You want to sell server side, virtual is done. I don't want it, but on server side, let's say response time, and if you want to take it as the login, right, on average. Yeah, so this is what it says that, on login, this uses, around the, say, 26 seconds. Okay, as your number of users more, it is taking more number of the time to log in. Right. So a lot of things you can see the engine health. So this is where if you are APM configured, this is what I can give. This is what this particular load engine says that. So we can see that CPU is never be the more than 15 or 16%. This is what we expect, right? So my testing environment should not load. Otherwise, I'll get the false positive results. What are the errors? You can get your logs. You can also compare. You can also set as baseline. So if my test test comes good and you want to make it as this test as a baseline, and the subsequent test you want to compare those results to the baseline, that is also possible with respect to this baseline results. Yeah, I think that's it. I think we have
Yeah, I
some
think
other
Guru,
things to
there
confirm.
are
Yes, but
yeah,
yeah, on top of that, yes,
there are few questions
yes.
in chat box.
Hmm. For
From
some
Pratik.
static, mhm.
Yeah, for some static files, if caching is enabled, whether the tool
Uh-huh.
shows the files are being served from browser cache or from server.
I think you are talking about the cold load and the boot load. If for some static files, if caching is enabled, whether the tool shows the files are being served from browser cache or from server. Um, well, so what we capture is, of course, that again, what I understand is that depends on how we capture it. Something called code load and the boot load, right? When the code load, it means that you are starting very fresh. So when you're starting your capture, right, capturing a traffic, you make sure you start with all the cache is cleared. So that would cover some of the JS file and access files as well, so that you can make use of it. So if you have boot the warm load, then it actually don't capture some of the cache files, which because they're already cached like that. So something, if you manage these things with your the extension while you are capturing, trying to capture the test, I think this will be taken care.
Okay. And he's having few more questions.
Yes.
He's asking to show some fail tests so that scope of improvement can be assessed.
Is it core based licensed? Is okay. If you're asking the core based, what do you mean the core based? Um.
I'll just unmute Pratik.
Uh-huh.
Pratik, you can talk now.
Right. Pratik out there.
Yeah,
Right.
Pratik, you can talk now. I have unmuted you.
Okay. No issues. No issues. I think the okay licenses you asked for the core based license, right? So it is not something on the core we're using. It is depends upon the number of concurrent users you want to execute. It comes with. like that, or also it comes with the pay as you use. That also license. We have different licensing models. So if you are interested, you can feel free to reach Jayesh, and so they have our email IDs. Or if you want to reach us, this is where you can reach out to me. So we are more than happy to support and guide and help. Right. Any other quick questions we have? Last minute questions? Anything I missed? Yeah, I think we have a lot of things to cover, but unfortunately, we have a limited time to cover. But if
Yes, yes.
anybody is interested, anytime, please reach out to us.
We
Yeah.
will take a last question from Shubham Jadhav. What are available features to simulate browser-based performance testing to capture real-end user experience?
Feature to simulate browser-based performance testing to capture real end use. Yes, one thing is, as I mentioned, with all of the end user thick client, with AV load and Selenium interactions, that you can do it. But on top of that, just to tell you, we have Perfecto devices as well with the real devices. Now, what we've done is something called end-to-end user performance. It means that the Blazemeter itself will trigger the live testing on the real devices. And from Perfecto, we retrieving the device resources as well, like, the CPU, memory, the network bytes and power score. I mean, the power score is nothing, the amount of energy drawn by the devices, like those all informations can be retrieved. And plus, the on top of that, we have something called end user experience time. So just like using our timers, Perfecto timers, we will get that how much time actually took to load these applications, load this particular transactions, like that. All those data can be get through this one. And with respect to the browsers, all your network tab, what are the network tabs we use for our regular the testing, right? Those values is can be retrieved as part of the end user experience section.
Okay. Yeah, I think we'll move on now. So this is time for the poll questions again. So, Pooja, are you ready to start one question here? So, now we will post one link and chat box. Everyone have to answer that questions. Okay. So whoever will be the winner, we will be happy to give you some goodies from our side. So before starting, you just have to rename yourself and need to give that quiz answer. So it
Jayesh,
will help us.
can I also participate?
Yeah, you can also participate.
Okay, just
So
joking.
the quiz is based on your this
Okay.
presentation method. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Just joking, yeah. Yeah, looking forward. Yeah, nice.
Yes.
Jitendra Kumar Sharma, Vashini R.
Yeah. Many of people have started.
Toilet data.
Please change your names. We are getting names like Fluffy Rabbit, Quick Rabbit.
Fluffy rabbit. Jayashri. Banu Kush 007. Visible.
Great response, great response. People are answering the questions. Winner of today's quiz will
Mama
get a goodies
Rabbit.
from
Quiz.com.
Majonic. Our team
Play
will
and
be
create.
connecting you separately for this.
Which aspect of performance testing has the highest potential for reducing cloud infrastructure costs?
Ravi joined. Banu Surya joined.
optimizing workload simulation based on real user behavior.
Great.
Why
Now,
is PII-safe data important in testing?
Very easy question.
Protects sensitive data.
Oh, nice.
In a cloud-based infrastructure, which factor most affects the scalability of performance tests?
It's also very easy.
The use of cloud-native performance testing tools like Blazemeter.
Final question. Double points.
What's the key benefit of cloud-based performance testing? Tests in multiple regions.
Third place. Inkush 007. Second place. Jitender Kumar Sharma. And the winner is Mama Rabbit.
we got
Congrats.
today 3 winners. Third is Ankush. Second is
Oh,
Jitendra.
second and third person is very close. Just 2 points. Oh,
Yeah,
pretty
first one
bad.
is Mama Rabbit. Can you please put your real name in chat box? Who is Mama Rabbit?
Very
Okay.
nice quiz.
Okay. No worries. Thank you
Pratik.
so much, everyone. You can expect goodie. Winner will can expect goodies from Metronic Innovations. Yeah, Mama Rabbit is Pratik Boir from GEP.
Congrats,
Congratulations
Pratik.
to all the winners. And thank you so much, Guru, for this wonderful session. It was really
Pleasure.
interactive and we really got some insights from this webinar. I hope
Thanks,
everyone has
Jayesh.
got some insights.
Thanks for the opportunity again. And thanks, team. So really very good question. I know I feel like the entire year. I'm sure you will learn a lot. So there's a lot of things to learn. And again, so as I mentioned, register yourself in the Blazemeter University, learn it. A lot of good things to upskill ourselves.
True. So, my team will be in touch with you if anything is required from our end or you need any support regarding Blazemeter. We will be happy to help you out. Please connect
Yeah.
us if anything is there. Thank you so much.